From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your evening update.
Well, happy Friday evening to you. Made it through another work week. Now you've got the weekend to look forward to. You'll notice, boy, it was kind of one of those gray days across the coast here today. This is what it looks like out at Crescent City in the Battery Point area. And you can see, of course, looking out over the ocean there, you just kind of have those gray skies. I mean, even looking north of Trinidad at Elk Country, just those low clouds kind of just spilling over the hillside there. But just a gorgeous sight nonetheless here. Always, even when we have all these clouds, just a beautiful sight to always look at when we're talking about the North Coast in general. Cooling trend going into the weekend. We're going to see these temperatures really begin to plummet here, especially by next week for the inland areas. But we're also talking about the chance for some rain and thunderstorms for the higher elevations in particular. So let's talk about the smoke first and foremost, because that's always a concern. We're still seeing these fires producing a lot of smoke. So as we go into Saturday morning, most of it will be in eastern Del Norte County, northern Humboldt County, and western Siskiyou County, just kind of in this area right here. Really, quite honestly, mainly in the vicinity of where the fires are, and then it kind of spreads eastward into central Siskiyou County. Now, it kind of backs off a little bit here, but kind of generally stays in this same general area through the day on Saturday. So take note, especially if you live in, say, Hoopa, northward, you'll probably be dealing with the hazy, smoky skies. Then we see by Sunday morning kind of a push of smoke southward. So parts of Humboldt County, not to mention Trinity County, seeing some of that smoke. This is kind of borderline haze and smelling some smoke in the air as we go into Sunday morning. So it looks like conditions may get a little bit worse air quality wise as you head down into Humboldt County, and not to mention southern portions of Trinity County as well. Here's what it looks like. That's for Sunday, by the way. Here's what it looks like as we go into tomorrow. Temperature still on the warm side. We're looking at mid-90s for the inland areas, but of course the coast much cooler in the mid-60s, and even a warm day for Trinity County by tomorrow with highs in the low 90s. Look at that. We're also seeing some raindrops falling from those clouds, and there could even be a few lightning strikes as well. We'll get into that in a second here, but first let's talk about the ridge of high pressure that gave us the warm temperatures. It's creating a big void of clouds over the western United States in general. This storminess right here, that's going to mainly stay to our north. But what you'll notice here, we've got a bit of a spin. Kind of hard to see because this spin, this area of low pressure, doesn't have much moisture to work with. So as a result, it's not producing much in the way of clouds or rain for that matter. So you see these rusty colors right here? That is all just dry air. And you can see it's really making its way into Baja and to parts of Southern California as well. We're kind of in the transition between very dry and saturated, but we even have some of these darker colors indicating the fairly dry air that is over us. So as this area of low pressure moves closer to us, you can see it spinning right here. This is going to park itself off the coast of California. This is our chance for showers and thunderstorms I was talking about just a second ago. So you can see as we go through the weekend, it approaches. It'll park itself off the coast on Sunday. So Saturday, Sunday, even into Monday, we've got that chance for showers and thunderstorms. Now, with that flow around the low, we're kind of in that perfect position where we have the most amount of instability in the air. Now, as I mentioned, though, this storm doesn't have a lot of moisture to work with, so anything we do see is going to be few and far between, and it really won't amount to much. Then we can see as we go into the middle of next week, that low pressure is down to the south. No longer really much of a concern for us, but what I've got my eyes on is this area right here. Now, some colder air pulling down from Canada will break itself off and develop an upper level low. Now, here is where we have a bit of a discrepancy in the long-range forecast models. What we're looking at right now is what's known as the GFS, or the American Forecast Model. It's forecasting even farther to the east than what was initially forecasted earlier this morning, which was over central Nevada. So with a position like this, temperatures won't drop as much, and we won't see any rainfall with this scenario, okay? But with the European forecast model, it actually has this low right on top of Northern California. That scenario would bring us significantly cooler temperatures and rain, not to mention thunderstorms in the forecast. So as of right now, toward the end of next week, we're looking at next Thursday into, of course, that next week, that next weekend, that is, we could be looking at the potential for showers and thunderstorms if we get that low on top of us. Now, I have included it in the forecast as we get toward the end of next week. But let's talk about this weekend, right? Because that's the weekend we may have plans. If you're in Del Norte and Humboldt counties, no need to really worry a whole lot about showers and thunderstorms because for the most part, it'll be in Trinity County. This is 2 p.m. on Saturday. There you can see parts of Trinity County seeing some of that. But see how it's few and far between? We're just not seeing much activity. Then we go into 4 p.m. on Saturday. You see it does make its way to the Hoopa area in Willow Creek. So we could see some activity in eastern and northeastern portions of Humboldt County, but then that should pretty much dissipate as it moves itself northward. Now, Sunday, most of the activity will be in Siskiyou County. Now, Futurecast isn't showing any rain here for Trinity County or Hoopa or Willow Creek. That being said, we can't rule out some activity developing there on Sunday afternoon and possibly on Monday. But I think most of the activity, if we see anything, will be mainly to our east in the eastern mountains. All right, so let's talk about the temperatures. You see how we're seeing those temperatures drop? And what we're seeing here is kind of the mid-range between what we could see at the low pressures over Nevada or if the low pressure is right on top of us. If the low pressure is right on top of us, these temperatures could drop down into the 60s. If the low pressure is to the east of us, these temperatures could probably be in the upper 70s to even some low 80s. So it will be a bit warmer and not to mention drier. So we're just going to kind of have to wait and see. So I've just kind of put it right in the middle of where that low pressure could be. That's all going to depend on where that low pressure system goes next week. Here are your wave heights you can see for Saturday between 5, 6, and even 7 feet heading out to sea. And as we take a look at your marine forecast for tomorrow, your winds will be from the southwest at 5 knots, waves from the north at 2 feet at 7 seconds, and from the northwest at 2 feet at 9 seconds. Your low tide at 7:19 tomorrow morning, and 1:52 will be your high tide in the afternoon with no advisories for the immediate coast. Here's what it looks like for tonight. We've got those temperatures mainly in the 50s for the higher elevations in inland, mid to upper 50s out along the coast. And for tomorrow, another warm day. 96 for Hoopa, 97 Willow Creek, 90 in Garberville, and temperatures mainly in the upper 80s and low 90s for Trinity County, with the exception of Ruth with a high of about 86. 64 for Crescent City, 64 for Eureka and Shelter Cove, and for Tuna, a high of about 71 degrees. Here's a look at your 7-day outlook. It's dry for the coast. Temperatures mid-60s on average. First day of fall is on Friday night. So actually the first full day of fall will be that next Saturday. But we officially transition from summer to fall Friday night. Slight chance for showers, maybe some thunderstorms for Hoopa on Saturday and Sunday. I've taken the chance out on Monday. I'm keeping a slight chance for some activity for places like Weaverville in Trinity County on Monday, but even those chances are very slim. And then we go into Thursday, Friday. I have included a chance, but this may change. Again, all depending on where that low pressure system I was telling you about earlier decides to go toward the end of next week. Your 7-day outlook for Eureka, temperatures in the mid-60s on average for the next 7 days. First day of fall is Friday night, with those overnight lows in the mid to upper 50s.